When it comes to big, full-size pickup trucks, Americans simply cannot get enough of these vehicles. Even though the Ford F-150 has always been the sales leader in the segment, the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra Twins has always been number 2. And last year, the company gave this vehicle a pretty extensive overhaul, including a major refresh of the interior, finally giving it the tech that this fourth-generation Silverado has needed for years. However, for 2023, the Silverado pretty much stays the same. However, for those of you who want to buy a diesel-powered half-ton truck, GM has made some extensive updates to the diesel powertrain, which is exactly what I'm driving this week. As you can see, Chevrolet has dropped off this 2023 Silverado Trail Boss, equipped, of course, with 3-liter turbo diesel inline 6, which now has about 10% more horsepower versus last year, courtesy of new pistons, a revised turbocharger, and of course, new injectors. So as you can see this week, we're going to spend a week with the 2023 Silverado Trail Boss equipped with the diesel engine. We're going to put it through our usual battery of tests, and at the end of this video, we're going to find out if you guys are looking for a new half-ton truck and you want to break the norm by going with an oil burner for an engine. How does the 2023 Silverado Trail Boss with the diesel stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Now, because this truck got an extensive overhaul for 2022, I'm going to focus and first show you guys what's underneath the hood of this model, because this is where Chevrolet has made some extensive changes to a very unique engine in the segment, a 3-liter turbo diesel inline 6. Now you can see underneath this massive hood, this is a choice of, or this is one of 4 different engines that's offered on the current generation Silverado. And this engine got, like I said earlier, a new turbocharger, new pistons, and revised injectors. And now it makes 305 horsepower and 495 pound-feet of torque. That's up versus the 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque from last year's engine. Remember, this is a 3-liter turbocharged Duramax diesel inline 6-cylinder engine, which is very smooth, very powerful, very torquey. It all goes out through a 10-speed automatic transmission. That is a GM and Ford co-developed transmission. And this Trail Boss model that we're driving comes standard with 4-wheel drive with an electronic rear locker. It's got a 2-speed transfer case with an actual low range. Fuel economy for the Trail Boss model does drop. The diesel can get up to 29 mpg on the highway, but this model is rated at 21 in the city, 23 on the highway, which is very impressive figures. Remember, the lower trims or the other trims will get almost 30 mpg, which is basically the best in the segment. Chevrolet doesn't quote a 0 to 60 time, but with that increased power and torque, we're going to put it through our tests and see what we can actually get in the real world. The big story, of course, besides the power, is also the increased towing capacity. This is now rated to tow a maximum of 13,300 pounds. This one here is rated at 13,000 pounds. That's a huge 4,000 pound increase versus the previous engine, which again, GM reworked in order to allow this engine to tow a lot more. Payload is now around 1,800 pounds. This particular one here is around 1,780 pounds, which is great. And then the curb weight, this is a big, heavy truck. It's a crew cab short bed, which it comes in and weighs at around 5,300 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and show you guys the styling of the Trail Boss trim, which I haven't had a chance to show you guys yet. This truck, remember, got a huge update back in 2022, and I think GM did a phenomenal job with improving the look of this truck. The pre-refresh model kind of had a front fascia that looked like it was missing part of the front end. That's kind of been gone away. My particular tester is the LT Trail Boss, painted in red hot, which definitely looks red hot. I love how the Trail Boss trim gets a lot of black accents. You get a black accent in the grille with the black Chevy bow tie emblem, the Z71 badge, because remember, this has the Z71 package, and then all the Trail Boss trims come standard with their full LED headlights. So you have LED low and high beams, LED turn signal, LED daytime running lights. No fog lights, but there are some functional grille openings. The Trail Boss also has these red painted recovery tow hooks, which is nice. And you also have a different front end to improve the approach angle for off-road capability. The Duramax also has a unique hood with the Duramax badging on the actual hood to let people know that you've got the diesel powertrain. But overall, let me know what you guys think of in the comment section below of the styling. I think this is now a very handsome truck, and I think it's just as good looking as the Sierra AT4X, which is versus kind of sharing a platform with this vehicle. Now, moving around the side profile, the one I'm showing you is the crew cab with the shorter 5'8" bed. There's also a 6.5-foot bed that you can also get, but hey, this is a really big truck as it is. It's a full-size truck with a body-on-frame design. It's got a 147-inch long wheelbase, so again, long wheelbase, and then the overall length is 232.9 inches long. This is about an inch longer versus like an LT or an LTZ because of the different bumpers and styling elements you get with the Trail Boss trim. Now you can see around the fenders here, you have a large Z71 badge because this truck gets the Z71 2-inch lifted suspension. So there's a total of around 10.9 inches of ground clearance. And remember, if you want more, the ZR2 offers around 11.3 inches of ground clearance, which is a lot, but it's still below versus what you're going to get from some of the competitors from Ford, for example. Or from Ram or from Toyota. You can see the wheels. These are the 18-inch black finish 5-spoke wheels on a 32-inch tall Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack mud terrain tires. So it's a 275/65 R18. You can also get a 20-inch wheel, which is going to lower, the off-road capability, but it does look better. These 18s, I think, do a really nice job of filling out the wheel wells. But again, some trucks offer like a 35 or a 37 if you look at a Raptor, for example, but a Raptor would compete more with a ZR2 trim. Now you can see the Trail Boss gets black painted side mirrors, no integrated turn signals, black door handles. My Tester is missing a sunroof. That's a $1,000 upcharge, but Chevy doesn't offer a pano roof on this truck. And then you can see over here, there's also the diesel exhaust fluid reservoir where you need to add, because remember, this is a diesel, but the lines are very traditional truck over here. You can't really notice too much in terms of changes versus the pre-refresh model. I'm surprised to see that my Tester doesn't have a sliding opening rear window back there. The Toyota Tundra is one of the few that offers an actual roll down window, but looking at the rear, you can see this is where the Silverado didn't get too many changes versus the front fascia. You can see there's LED turn signals and brake lights, but it's an incandescent design for the reverse light. You've got that black bow tie emblem, and then you have a dual exhaust system that's integrated into the rear. My Tester already has a tow package. And then my Tester also has the multi-pro tailgate design, or multi-flex tailgate, that's what Chevy calls it, along with the spray-in bed liner and the hard roll-up tonneau cover, which is nice. This is a 5'8" long bed, and like I said earlier, this has a maximum payload of just shy of 1,800 pounds. I love the multi-flex tailgate where it kind of gives you a little step over here with a handle that pops out, or you can also kind of close this up and it'll give you like a little miniature, which is really hard to do with one hand, but you can basically just open this up if you'd like, which you touch this button here. And this kind of creates like a little extender portion here where you can also open this up, where you can put longer pieces of wood back here. So I love the multi-flex tailgate system. This used to be exclusive to the Sierra, but it's nice to see that it's trickled down to the Silverado as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the interior of this particular Trail Boss trim. The first thing I do want to show you guys is the key fob. You can see this is the current fob that GM uses on a lot of their vehicles. It has a remote start. You can also open and close the tailgate and lock and unlock and use the panic function. This key looks nice, feels nice. I think it's a good size. It also feels pretty durable. Now, as I approach the Silverado, you can see it does have a walk-away auto lock feature, which is nice. However, if you want to approach the vehicle, it doesn't actually unlock. Some cars offer that, but the Silverado, you basically have to touch the button on the door handle and that will unlock the door for you. Now, my Tester, the red hot exterior is complemented by a black cloth interior. That's right, I was surprised to see cloth in this vehicle, especially considering the price, but you can get leather for like an extra $2,000 or get a premium package that's $4,000. The seats are like an 8-way power adjustable with 2-way lumbar support, and you can also get memory seats along with heated and cooled seats, I believe. This model only has heated seats and a heated steering wheel, so again, a little bit Spartan in terms of cloth, but at least the seats do feel relatively nice. You can see the door panels have a soft touch injection molded plastic. You have some wood look trim with some aluminum look trim, padded armrest over here, leather along this portion of the door panel, and you can see this is all hard plastic with some storage. Just the standard stereo in this truck, I would highly recommend going with the Bose audio. The standard stereo doesn't sound all that special, but my Tester here has the off-road side steps right here. It's a dealer accessory. As I get in, you can basically help you lift yourself into the truck, which is definitely going to be nice for shorter folks like myself. As I get in and shut the door, you can hear the truck has a nice solid sounding thunk. And then the big story last year was the completely upgraded interior, which just has these massive new screens. You have a 12.3-inch display here, which is customizable, that's standard. And then you have a 13.4-inch screen here that's part of Chevrolet's new infotainment system 3. This is a Google Android-based operating system. When you start the truck up, you can hear the diesel has a very smooth startup. It's got a start-stop button down here, so you don't lose sight of it. Keep in mind, however, if you guys go for the base versions, if you go for an L or lower than an LT trim, so the work truck or the custom, you'll have a 7-inch screen. So you have to at least go to an LT to get this massive 13.4-inch display, which you can see has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It has over-the-air updates, and it just looks great. It's easy to use. It has the Google Assistant where you can talk to it. It also will give commands and whatnot. And then it has the embedded GPS there, which is basically Google that you get from your computer. It all works really well. This is now one of the better, if not the best, infotainment systems you're going to find in this segment, which is just nice to see. In terms of the materials, you can see you've got a soft touch injection molded plastic with faux stitching. My truck doesn't have a heads up display. That's just kind of like a information display or LED warning light display. The steering wheel, you can see, is a manual tilt and telescoping, which offers a good amount of adjustability and range. There are paddles on the wheel. You have controls here for your cruise control, the distance warning for your forward collision alert. Your audio controls are here. The horn sounds good. It doesn't sound puny. It sounds appropriate given the size of this truck. And then over here you can see there's some soft touch plastic materials over the second glove box there, which you can see offers a little bit of storage. There's more of that faux wood, some aluminum trim, and then you have dual zone climate control with 3-level heated seats, which Chevy allows you to just turn on the backrest or the backrest and the butt heat, which is nice. You have lane keep assist, some empty buttons to show that you've got the lower trim version. There's no Super Cruise available on this trim. You can only get Adaptive Cruise, which is sad if you guys want that option. But down here you can see big center console area with an electronic shifter. This controls the 10-speed auto. Put the truck into reverse, you can see there's your backup camera with trailer views, trajectory, and parking sensors, but my Tester does not have a full 360 camera, which would be nice considering the size of this vehicle. But overall, I like the infotainment system for this vehicle. I think it's a really nice upgrade versus the old 8-inch system, and it just looks a lot more befitting. Down here you can see you've got a wireless phone charging pad, you've got cup holders and a lot more storage, padded center console area, and you can see large when you open this up. You can see there's also 2 USB ports there, an A and a C port. I've basically fit all my camera gear in there, which is nice. You also have an actual household power outlet over there, which is also a very useful touch. The seats are comfortable and supportive, surprisingly. The cloth doesn't feel that cheap, but personally for me, I like leather, especially at this price point. I would prefer leather. Again, you can get that for an extra $2,500. The lower glove box you can see is bin style. It's damped but not lined with felt. It's also a pretty good size. No digital camera rearview mirror and no sunroof, but it does get a lot of headroom. There is LED map lighting in here. At least that definitely helps it feel a little more modern, but there's no ambient interior lighting. The screen also in the instrument panel is slightly customizable where you can change the gauge display. I have it set to the progressive, but there's also a classic, a digital, and a clean display where you want to kind of minimize all the distractions in the instrument panel. There's a lot of piano black plastic trim, but overall the build quality seems really good, and you also get a ton of space up here, which is nice. But let's go over it and hop into the back seat, because this truck offers a huge back seat, which is what every other truck in this segment has. Chevy says you have around 43.5 inches of leg room, which is just huge. It's plentiful. Material quality back here is pretty much the same as the front. Soft touch leather stitching or faux leather stitching, hard touch plastic down here. And then this seat, you can see, also has the ability to flip up where you can create a completely flat load floor, which is nice, and you just push it down to kind of put the seat back down. These steps are very handy for short people like myself, but as I get in and shut the door, you can see just a ton of legroom back here. I can literally stretch out. Because the truck is 81 inches wide, you can easily fit 3 wide Americans, 3 across back here with almost a flat floor back here. You have rear seat air vents, which is nice. You have 2 USB charging ports, cup holders and whatnot. This lower trim, I'm surprised to see, doesn't have an armrest in the center. That's what you get on the higher trims, along with, again, no roll down window or no sliding window. That's something you'll get on the higher trims. There is some map lighting back here, which is LED, but because of no sunroof, there's basically a ton of headroom. Sadly, Chevy does not offer a pano roof, so kind of keep that in mind. So overall, if you plan to use this as a family vehicle, just like other trucks in this segment, the Silverado offers a ton of space, even for your taller friends. So here we are in the 2023 Chevrolet Silverado. You guys know this truck got a big refresh for 2022. And surprisingly for 2023, Chevy has made some updates. The big update, of course, is the model that we're driving. It has the Duramax diesel engine, which got new pistons, a new turbocharger, new injectors. We have roughly 10% more horsepower and about 8% more torque. So now this thing is making 305 horsepower and 495 pound-feet of torque. This is the most powerful torque-producing engine in the Silverado family. There's now a choice of 4 engines. We're also driving the Trail Boss, which means this LT Trail Boss has the 18-inch wheels on 32-inch tall tires, around 10.9 inches of ground clearance. It's around a 5,300-pound truck. So obviously, Chevy increased the power to increase the towing capability and also give us a little bit more performance. I've actually never 0 to 60 tested the diesel version of any of these GM trucks, which I've always loved this powertrain. For an extra $2,600, it is quite an interesting investment. But let's go ahead and see what we can get 0 to 60 wise. It's in normal mode, there's no sport, it's in 4-wheel drive auto. We'll brake torque it. Ooh, this thing feels so quick off the line. 6.6 seconds. Wow, that is fast. Now, I actually have never 0 to 60 tested the old engine, but let me tell you, this thing feels very quick off the line. It just kind of leaps off the line with so much torque. I mean, nearly 500 pound-feet of torque at 1,500 RPM. That's basically right off of idle. This thing will seriously surprise a lot of you. In fact, this is way quicker feeling than the base 5.3. I haven't driven the 2.7 turbo 4-cylinder in this truck in a long time, but I have tested it in the new Colorado. It's also a very impressive engine. But really, for the most part about this diesel is what most people are going to love is just how effortless it feels. It really does feel very powerful. Let's go ahead and try it again here. Oof. You can feel the back end squats down as you put your foot down, and the shifts from the 10-speed are immensely smooth. Now, without brake torquing it, I got 7.4 there, and this is more uphill. So again, pretty big variation. We'll try it one more time up ahead and see if we can get what we get on that final run. But again, the diesel just is so smooth, it's so refined, it has torque everywhere. And this is kind of the best of both worlds. If you guys love the 6.2-liter V8, the pushrod V8, which has a nice noise, this doesn't have quite the sound of the V8, but what you do get is just so much effortless feel. I mean, I put my foot down, literally the truck just accelerates forward, the torque pushes you back in the seat, and it just feels very impressive. I think a lot of you who do a lot of towing, who just want that kind of effortless feel, you're gonna really like what the diesel has to offer. Now, the Trail Boss package also gives you the 2-inch lifted suspension on these 32-inch tall mud terrain tires. That is going to affect the on-road driving, of course. Off-road, this is gonna be much improved compared to a regular LT or LTZ. But I don't hear too much in terms of tire drumming. The steering is pretty much dead and numb. It's a pickup truck on a body-on-frame design, of course, with a live axle in the back, so this is not sporty. There's not even a sport mode in this truck, which I appreciate. There's either just a normal or an off-road mode, but regardless, this handles the corners just fine. It doesn't feel cumbersome. It doesn't feel hard to drive, although if you're not used to driving these big pickup trucks, it will. And the ride quality, some people have complained about the ride being bouncy and jittery. I personally don't think it's not bad, or it's bad. The F-150 and the Ram definitely have the best ride quality in the segment, but this is on par with the Toyota Tundra, the new Tundra, which is definitely truckish. It never lets you forget that you're driving around in a truck with a live axle, especially when you have nothing in the back to help settle the weight down. So yes, you're gonna have to get used to the truckish feel, but hey, if you guys want a truck, you like trucks, you're gonna like the way this thing rides and drives. It's just very traditional feeling, which I think is personally a good thing. But let's go ahead and try it again here really quick, one more time. Ooh. It shifts at around 4,000 RPM. 6.55 seconds there, so wow. Was not expecting this truck to be so fast, so bravo Chevrolet GM for improving this turbocharged inline six. It's smooth, it's torquey, it has impressive performance, which again, this probably is gonna rival the power and acceleration feel that you're gonna get from the naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8. And I'm just shocked. I'm shocked at how fast this thing is. And the diesel powertrain's always been one of my favorites in this class. And Chevy just basically made it better this year, which is fantastic. Now, in terms of the rest of the drive, let's go ahead and shut this off. Quietness is also pretty good. Modern diesels are just very smooth and refined. They have that characteristic clatter noise that you expect from a diesel. But again, if you're a non-car person and you drive this, you may not even notice the diesel, which could be a problem for those of you who accidentally might want to put gasoline in this thing. No, it runs on diesel. You have to fill it up with diesel injector fluid as well in order to get the emissions correct for this. This car has a gauge that tells you how much is left in the tank for the diesel exhaust fluid. Visibility out of this truck is also fine. It's a box. You can see out of it just fine. Pillars aren't too big. My tester surprisingly is missing blind spot monitoring, no adaptive cruise control. The only thing it has is just lane keep assist and forward collision warning with braking. So if you want super cruise, you have to step up to the high country trim, which is Chevrolet's hands-free driver assistance tech. You can get adaptive cruise control, but again, if you want super cruise, you have to step it up to the highest trim. They don't offer it on the Trail Boss versions, which I wish they did. My tester also is very light on the options, but even though this has cloth seats, the cloth seats are comfortable. They're also heated. I have a heated steering wheel. There's so much space in this truck, so it's a really nice road trip vehicle, and it's also a cruising champ. I mean, when Chevy dropped this off, it was showing like 580 miles on a full tank. It's got a 24-gallon gas tank again, and fuel economy, that's the big number here. In my week's worth of testing, I was averaging around 22 mpg in mixed driving, which is excellent. This truck is only rated to do 21, 23. On the highway, I beat that number, getting around 26 mpg, which is impressive, very impressive. You'll get better mpg if you don't go for the Trail Boss, because these big tires and the lifted suspension do hurt the aerodynamics, so that's going to slow the truck down and also create more aerodynamic drag, which is why it's lowering the fuel economy. But again, very, very nice. So if you guys are looking at an electric truck like a Lightning and you want something that's going to get better range, you're going to want to go with a diesel. Diesel is really the way to go. You're going to get better effortless feel for towing, for acceleration, better real world MPG, and just the crazy range that you want out of a pickup truck, where you can travel long distances in comfort and you don't have to stop so long to refuel and such. But overall, the Silverado for 2022 got some really nice updates. If you guys are looking at a 2023 model, the diesel for $2,500 is kind of a steal, and I'd happily recommend it, unless you must have a V8 or you're on a budget, you don't want to spend too much. But overall, yeah, this truck is very impressive, and I like the fact that Chevy continues to offer an inline-six diesel, because this and the Ram are the only brands left that offer this oil burner powertrain. So after spending a full week with the 2023 Silverado Trail Boss with the Duramax diesel, I have to say I've always liked the diesel powertrain when I first sampled it about 3 years ago in something like the Suburban. But after spending some time with it in the Silverado with the updates that they've made, as you guys saw, the performance of the diesel is impressive. It's got smooth, effortless power. It's got plenty of torque everywhere, and the increase in horsepower and torque has made a difference that I've noticed in everyday driving. In fact, 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds for this truck is basically almost as quick as the V8, the 6.2 liter V8, which I think the quickest I've gotten in that is around 6 seconds. This is going to smoke a lot of other pickup trucks, and you're also going to smoke them at the pump, because I got around 23 mpg in mixed driving, and this thing will easily do over 25 mpg on the highway, and giving you around a 550 to 600 mile cruising range, which is just phenomenal. Now, in terms of capability, sad to show that I never actually towed with this thing, but it does give you that effortless feel. The handling and ride of this truck is a little bit more on the truckier side. So again, you're going to kind of sacrifice ride quality compared to the Ford F-150 or the Ram 1500 with the air suspension. But for those of you who are used to a truck, this is not going to feel any more cumbersome than what you probably used to drive. In fact, it's going to feel a lot better. The styling of the Silverado got a lot better as well for 2022. And if you guys are looking to buy this vehicle, Chevy does price this right along the heart of the market. They started around $36,000. An actual Trail Boss custom trim is going to be around $51,000, at around $6,000 more if you guys want the LT Trail Boss. Now, my tester, of course, isn't a high option model, but it does have a couple of options like the diesel engine, the upgraded interior that this one also slightly gives you, the upgraded suspension and whatnot. This one here comes in at a total of around $63,000, which is, again, a very lightly optioned vehicle, as you guys saw from the interior with the cloth seats. I personally would add the premium package for an extra $4,000. It adds the leather and the upgraded interior materials along with the Bose stereo system. Those options will kind of push the price closer to $70,000, which, again, very expensive. These full-size truck segment vehicles are getting just ridiculously expensive, but this one here at $63 does undercut some rivals from Ford and from Ram. and from Toyota, but just keep in mind that it won't have all of the luxury features and it isn't quite as off-road capable as some of its competitors as well. But I gotta tell you guys, that diesel engine makes this a very enticing proposition, especially if you guys are tired of all the range anxiety that you get with something like the Ford F-150 Lightning. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2023 Chevrolet Silverado Trail Boss with the Duramax diesel engine. If you're also looking to see the latest vehicles I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.